Hello everyone, welcome back. Another video of importing classic dungeon crawl stone soup entities into Magic the Gathering, courtesy of Urzas.ai, to generate magic cards from my specifications, which in this case will be classic dungeon crawl unrandom artifacts. Those are dungeon crawl generates random artifacts, equipment that you can wear, and mostly generates those randomly, but there are some special unrandom artifacts that were hand designed and can be generated in your games, and some of these are fairly noteworthy. Maybe these aren't the 8 best artifacts I could have picked, but I think they're pretty memorable. And I tried to pick ones that I hoped the AI would have a little bit of fun with. So with that out of the way, let's just get started here. Who's up first? It's the macabre finger necklace. Seems awful. A 1-mana black. The art's good though. 1-mana black artifact. You can pay 1 and tap it to get a black. So if your only black source in your whole deck is a treasure, you can use that treasure to play the macabre finger necklace, and then you can use the artifact to turn other mana black for you. So you can keep casting those black creatures you put in your deck with no swamps for some reason. Seems absolutely awful. Oh boy, there's a lot of things you shouldn't do in the flavor text. Never laugh, or cry, or shake your finger, or play with your nails, or reach for the thing in your hand, or curse the gods, or twist the hand, or frown, or say sit down, or borrow that, or come, or my nails are scabby, or there's no tooth left, or come on, or a gift for your wedding? Okay, so flavor text 12 out of 10. It doesn't make any sense, but it did make me laugh. A lot of things you should never do or say. And the art, I think, is great, right? Like, I don't know if this is a necklace made of fingers. Like, those look like bones or meat that have been curved into... Like, it's not in necklace shape, but maybe if you put a clasp at the back, it would. And it's got, like, it knew I was talking about fingers. There's a hand here. Now, in Dungeon Crawl, the macabre finger necklace is a necklace with a finger dangling from it, which you can put a ring on to have a third magical ring equipped. But a necklace made of fingers, that's a little bit more Magic the Gathering, I think. So I think the AI has done a great job with the art here. Flavor text is hilarious, and the card itself mechanically is dreadful. 1 out of 10. Would not put in any limited or constructed deck, I think. All right, next up, the Gauntlets of War. So, my recollection in Dungeon Crawl, I mean, these are gloves, obviously, and you wear them, and they're like Slay +5 and Armor +3 or something, or maybe it's Armor +5, Slay +3. I don't remember. Anyway, they're better armor than you can usually get in gloves, and they also make you do more damage. So quite strong. Gauntlets of War are an artifact, but an artifact creature. Okay. It's a golem. Okay. So it's animated gauntlets. They're gauntlets that will go to war themselves. And it does look like a golem made of gauntlets. That's pretty cool. Whenever a player draws a card, that player loses 1 life. Okay. If the city holds a cavern, it holds a fight between the Canes and the Afterlife. Doesn't make any sense flavor text-wise. The art is kind of amazing. It isn't what I expected the Gauntlets of War to be, but it does match what... the art matches the mechanics. So great job on that. A 3-mana 3/3 is fine for limited. When a player draws a card, that player loses 1 life. I mean, it's a neutral effect. But you would love to put this in like an aggro deck, right? Where your life total doesn't matter and your opponent wins. Like you're playing against a control deck who wants to stop you like attacking them and draw enough cards that they can gain card advantage. This punishes them for that. I think this is quite good in like a red-white deck or something. Give it a 6. The art is amazing. Mechanics are fine. Great card. Good work, there's AI. Next up, the Singing Sword, a 3-mana human wizard, but okay, he's got a sword in front of him, which could potentially be singing. 3 mana 2/2 flash. Oh my, well, okay. I thought briefly this was a 3 mana Hullbreaker Horror, but no. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may return target creature you control to its owner's hand. I think this is actually really good. 3 mana 2/2 is a little understated, overcosted. The flash is fine. And actually kind of works really well with its other ability. So this is great in like a bounce deck, right? Where you have a bunch of good enter the battlefield or leave the battlefield effects. And also, even in limited, it's fine because it's like it turns all of your instants into like spells that dodge removal, right? You have some big creature on the board, the opponent's trying to remove it. You play Singing Sword for 3 in response to their removal, and then you play like, you know, some instant that destroys their creature or does face damage or draws a card, whatever, any instant at all, and you bounce your creature back to hand, and so their removal didn't work, and you gain card advantage that way. I think this is really good, and it makes sense that it's blue. It isn't really a Singing Sword, but the art's okay. Yeah, really has nothing to do with the title, huh? Oh well. Mechanics wise, how strong is this? Like a, I mean, I think in blue it's like a 7. It's really quite good. Nothing. It's not gonna like win the game for you, but if you're in a close game, this will definitely turn it in your favor. The war saw Selesnya break. What do we do now? And the art here, I think, is, oh my god, is that one giant eye and then just a beard? This looks like some kind of wizard, and it makes sense. It made a wizard. There's a sword in it. There's fire in the background. It's not bad art-wise. Next up, we have... This is... I asked for Shield of the Gong, not Narlados's Command Tower. So let's try again. The Shield of the Gong is it's a shield that you use. It's very large, great at blocking stuff. But incredibly loud. Whenever you block anything, pretty much everything in the entire floor comes chasing after you. So you have to fight hordes of enemies at a time if you're using the Shield of the Gong. It's a 3 mana enchantment creature, human warrior. It's a 3 mana 2/2. It looks a little bit. This is a really weird, like, there's this circular thing suggesting a shield, but it also seems to be made by this Lajatang. I mean, you know, the Lajatang of Order is also a classic DCSS item. And obviously, like, I picked a bunch of things that I thought would be artifacts. And we got, like, a couple of them, right? Well, this was a creature, artifact creature. Okay, we only got one. But the Golem is an artifact creature. This is an enchantment creature, but it's drawing focus on this object in the background, which doesn't really look like a shield, but it's textured like a gong, I guess. That's not bad. And a heavily armored dude with a Lajatang. Yeah, you could imagine this being like a picture on the Shield of the Gong's Tinder profile, right? Like, check out how well I protected this dude. I don't know. Anyway, when it enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. I think this is okay. It's nothing incredible. Decent filler in limited. Give it a 4, maybe. Right. The stats are bad, but you put a counter on another creature, so that's cool. It fights not for money, but for honor. I've never seen one fight for money, but for honor. Okay, got a little tangled up in itself there. Flavor text, give it a meh. Next up, Warlocks Mirror. Okay, I mean, doesn't do anything like Dungeon Crawl's Warlocks Mirror, which, like, when the Warlocks Mirror blocks something, that thing is reflected and damages its caster, right? Any, like, projectile. Or any ranged effect. You know, it can even bounce fireballs, which seems a little weird, but apparently is allowed. But we did get an artifact. It's a 1-mana artifact. And for 2 mana, you can tap something. Artifact, creature, or land. Sure. This reminds me of, like, I never played when Icy Manipulator was around, I think. What is Icy Manipulator? Yeah, it's 4 mana, and you pay 1 and tap it to tap target artifact, creature, or land. And, I mean, Icy Manipulator, I think, is pretty good, isn't it? What does it cost? Like a quarter? Alright, maybe it's not that good. Maybe it's just been reprinted enough times. I thought it was good, though. Anyway, this is a cheaper version of it, but you pay more when you activate it. I think this is probably pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is worth running probably in any decks. The Warlock has done a lot of strange things. Sometimes, when they are asleep, they speak of some terrible thing that will take place. The Pretender thought of him now, though, as a mark of his genius. Sentences don't really hold together. There are, like, those 3 sentences make sense independently, I think, but together they don't really make any sense. Anyway, observations of the words of the Master to Draven. Journal entry. The art is, I mean, it looks like a church, right? The stained glass windows or something. Maybe a Warlocks church. I don't see any mirrors in here, which is too bad. But I can believe this place belongs to a Warlock. Not bad. The Plutonium Sword, one of the sillier unranned artifacts. It's a sword that leaks out magical contamination everywhere, mutating you, and also polymorphing enemies, as I recall. In addition to being just a fairly strong sword. So 2 mana, artifact equipment, very good. Holy shit. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has tap, destroy target creature. Equip 1? This thing is nuts. Look at the flavor text. It is a sword. Yep, you got me. This is gross. They could never print this. 10 out of 10. Unbelievably good. What? It's like you pay 2 mana, you have this artifact. Okay, it doesn't do anything. But now, like, you can just, whenever you want, pay 1 to destroy a creature. Like, yes, you have to tap one of your creatures to do it, but that's not a big cost, and you have plenty of creatures, presumably, if you want to run Plutonium Sword. This is way too good to be printed. They could never run this. Like you would run this in every deck, I think, in Constructed and Limited. It's not clear that this picture is a sword. I see, like, a cityscape in the background, and if I saw this and was like, what is it? I might say it's like a weirdo battleship, maybe, floating in the ether. Something's holding it, so you could imagine, but there's no, like, I don't understand the art on this. The flavor text I like, and the mechanics, like, 10 out of 10 is too low. This card is insane. All right, moving on. I thought it might have trouble with this one. So Dungeon Crawl does not have any dual wielding, but there's this one special artifact that's like, oh, when you wield this, it's like you're dual wielding. The Twin Quick Blades, Gyre, and Gimbal. I assume this costs 3 and a blue because it's a blue card, but title might push the mana cost off to the side. It's not an artifact at all. It's a 2/2 Flying Drake. When you cast a non-creature spell, put a counter on it. It's pretty good, I think. They've printed stuff like this before, but it's usually like just, you know, get bonuses till end of turn. Putting a counter on is really good, I think. As a flyer, I don't really know how Constructed plays, but in Limited, this can end a number of games pretty quickly. Obviously, it wants to be in red-blue. But I imagine it would be fine in, like, mono blue, blue-white. It doesn't really seem blue-green to me. But maybe you could run it in blue-black? Anyway, the text in Limited, give this like an 8. It's quite strong. You could imagine that these little weird shapes are like the trails of a magical weapon being swung around or something. But it looks like the focus of this card is on, like, this is text I might expect on a weird land or something, right? There's floating islands around and Little people in the background there. I don't understand the art. He fools the swarm with the elves' horses, whom the druids accuse of cheating at Teloth's Day. Okay, so the elves' horses have been accused by the druids of cheating at a holiday. Or maybe this is the name of a gambling game? And somehow this enables someone else to fool the swarm. Flavor text doesn't make any sense. The card's good, the art is pretty, but doesn't really match. And the creature does not match the description I gave at all. Last up, just a kind of boring one, Necklace of Bloodlust. Huh. It's kind of a weird... I mean, it's kind of awful, right? But it's an interesting, like, it rewards you differently depending on which mana you have. Like, if this cost 1, it would still be bad, I think. Because the cost for all of these are like, these are one-shot things. You play it, and then you can later sacrifice it to do something. And like 3 mana and a card to draw a card is fine. Nothing to write home about. But 3 specific different colored mana to draw a card, plus you also paid 3 earlier, is like, this is abysmal. I can't imagine you would run this in any deck. A 1 out of 10. In case of death, what bloodlust? That doesn't make any sense. The art's great though. This is, I could believe this is a necklace and it's somehow infusing its wearer with black and red tendrils that cause bloodlust or something. Good art. And it matches with the description here. Yeah, pretty good. Card absolutely sucks, but you know, it's it gets the fun part right, which is the art, I guess. Anyway, those are all the artifacts I have prepared. Tomorrow, I plan to do some of the more memorable uniques in the game. So that should be interesting to see how those turned out. Hope you guys are enjoying the series. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.